da kake ganin zai haifar idan ba a canza salo ba.
I'm very excited for us to be able to go on this journey together, I think. I've always been really, really fascinated and so enamored by people who have the ability to like build things from scratch or nurture things or pour resources and time and effort into things and just really, really develop them. So to be able to be in that position, I think it's really interesting to be able to like bring a camera along and share the trials and tribulations with people. It's definitely not easy, and I think this is one of those things where, especially at the beginning stages, where you do make a lot of mistakes. So have a bit, not even a bit, have a lot of grace with me. I definitely will be making a lot of mistakes. I've already made like some pretty, not major, but I've already made some pretty minor ones. And I think it's only normal, right? And it's only human, especially if you're doing anything new that you've never done before, to make a bunch of mistakes and to learn from them and to correct them and so on and so forth. But overall, I think it's just nice. It's like refreshing. It's interesting. It's pushing me every day. I don't have a business background. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that before, but my background is really in like design, architecture, construction, sustainability. So yeah, it's like, at first it was a little bit like fish out of water, and at some point in time, and I was like, wait, this is feeling like I have to go and abandon my PhD and go and do an MBA. But no, I've like managed to, I think, juggle everything. So far, so good. And I've managed to get a good grasp on pretty much, not everything, but most things, or where I am at the moment. But yeah, as I said, I'm very excited for us to be able to go on this journey together. And I think the most interesting thing for me would be for us to be able to like build a community of people who support each other, who like pour into each other, encourage each other, and just learn from each other's situations. I don't want to call them mistakes, but who learn from each other's experiences, let's say that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a mistake as well. Like, it's only human for someone to make a mistake. But I'm just saying, it would be nice to build a community of people who just are interested in the journey of building anything, you know, whether it's successful 5-10 years down the line or whether it absolutely fails a few years from now. We definitely would have learned something from it. And I think that's the beauty of life. Whatever the situation is or whatever the situation ends up being, in the moment, I'm learning and I'm enjoying myself, and I think that's the most important takeaway from the whole thing. So it's come with like a few sample items. What is this? This is like a sample tissue paper, which is funny because that is what I ordered, but in a much bigger size. Then we have some thank you cards. I really love their branding. So interesting. I love graphic illustrations like this. It almost looks like a cartoon, like a strip. Some sticker samples, more sticker samples, a sample compostable mailer bag. Whatever this is. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my god, I kind of love. So as you can see from the clips in the video, January was a very interesting month. I registered my business like right at the top of the year. So I pretty much spent the month trying to sort out like all of my documentation, trying to figure out how I was going to take care of my books. So I think I considered an array of options. I looked at all the digital accounting softwares and I was just comparing them. Also was consulting different actual accountants locally to me just to see what they can do for me, the rates that they were offering, just figuring out how I pretty much would be able to file my annual like tax returns to HMRC and just make sure that like my books are clean, my books are like 100% correct and everything's up to date. I'm like a stickler for paperwork, so yeah, as I said, paperwork was like the top of the year for me. I think one of the things that I was also focusing on in January was just trying to sort out or figure out how I was going to do my custom packaging. So there were a couple of things that I was considering, which was the shipping boxes. For the shipping boxes, I had different samples. I had some samples done here in the UK and I also had done some samples in China and had them shipped over. So a lot of it was like comparing the quality of the output between the ones that were done in the UK and the ones that were done in China, coupled with looking at the costs. So of course it ended up being a lot more cost effective to get them done in China, but ended up spending, again, obviously a lot more money shipping them into the UK and clearing them and all sorts of things. Then came the issue of like minimum order quantities. So that I actually never even ended up placing like a massive order for the shipping boxes. It was just an idea that I had in my head and I was like, you know what, I have to execute this. I just have to see what these possible potential boxes for the future could look like. So that was that with the boxes. I think I'd also done a bunch of tissue paper. I had updated like my business branding since the last time that I had done thank you cards and business cards. So those were something else that I also ordered. I've just got my laptop here because I have a few notes and this is sort of supposed to be like a super casual sort of sit down chit chat. So I'll just have a look at a few of my notes and then we can continue about what happened in January. So I think I've covered pretty much everything for January. The only thing I'm seeing here that I missed out was also setting up a business bank account. So as soon as I mentioned at the top of the year, I had registered my business. As soon as that was done, the next step was trying to figure out how I was going to open a business bank account. And I had actually, I don't even know if this is silly, but I'd actually ended up getting rejected by a couple of like really popular banks. I didn't go with the choice of a high street bank. I decided to try one of these like online banking, online banks. So namely, I'm not going to say who I was rejected by, but I'll just give you an example of the types of banks that I was looking at setting up an account with. Starling, Monzo, as I mentioned, the online banks or the new-ish banks. And I think a lot of the reasons why the account ended up being rejected was because I have a lot of clientele from Nigeria and from the Middle East, and those are the two sort of countries that sometimes are regarded as like high risk countries for fraud or all sorts. So yeah, a couple of my applications to some of the online banks got rejected, but I was able to again like finally sort out the problem of having a business bank account. Then what else? Okay, I guess just like a general introduction, which I've forgotten to do at the start of the video. So for those of you that don't know, I run a business called Sabon Salo where I offer a mixture of styling and personal shopping services. I do particularly focus on modest fashion. However, I have a range of clientele from like all over the world and who have like diverse styles that, of course, I try to adhere to the style language of each client whenever you are shopping for them or whenever you are pulling outfits and styling them for different occasions. Final thing that I have here written down is also sorting out equipment. So that was something that was hellish, and I still don't think I've 100% finished sorting out equipment. I'm still missing a lot of gear. It seems like purchasing equipment for YouTube is like never ending, whether it's YouTube or just general content creation. I had to purchase lights, different, what do you call it, tripods, remotes, all sorts of things. I had purchased my camera much earlier, so I didn't have a problem with that, but it was just so many other things that went into it. I think I'd even ended up purchasing what was it, like a clothing rack, some hangers, a lot of things, a backdrop, just things. I can't list them all, but things. So January was really, really interesting. On top of rendering the services that I normally render, traveling for content creation, for different jobs, networking events, one of the things that I focused on and I was really, really interested in doing was trying to like flesh out an idea that I had about a new service that I was going to launch for my business, which would be a cross between styling and personal shopping. So I had ended up trying to make these like conceptual boxes, or start trying to make these conceptual boxes of different brands or different products and items just to test it out and see. I had also spent a lot of February doing styling jobs throughout the month, you know, the usual going ons. Based on my list here, one of the things that I also was supposed to attempt to execute in February, which ended up like not working out, was creating not necessarily a full-on website, but I wanted a website landing page. So the idea was that whatever the service was that I was launching was going to feed into the website landing page so that it would be a little bit hands-off for me at the beginning stages of someone inquiring about that service. I wouldn't have to get involved until later on or later down the line during the shopping or styling stage of the process. But alas, that was not possible in February. I think I ended up putting that on the back burner because I just got so busy with academia that it was impossible for me to juggle trying to do like an entire media campaign and create all this content regarding that particular service, and also do like a full-on product shoot for it, organize all these like Instagram, Facebook ads to promote it, or some form of marketing for it. It was just a lot, and I think I just got so overwhelmed in February because I had done so much traveling between Leicester and London to execute the styling jobs that I had at the time, that it was just impossible for me to even consider launching that service. And I pretty much, as I mentioned, just put it on the back burner.
Pay the bread that got that page so he can get all the music on his stuff.
Yeah, I'm paying as well. I'm not paying that shit.
You got to.
I'm not paying that shit.
That's why his videos were so lit.
But I can just get good music from another source. So a lot of this is just me setting up the camera and sitting in different places. Just seeing how far into or how far out of the shot I am. Yeah, I just finished doing a little outfit shoot, just some content for the Instagram. I'm not particularly a fan of doing outfits of myself, but these days I have ideas and I have no other way to execute them. So I just have to put the things on, do the shoot myself, and then post it on my Instagram, probably on my business page as well. that's it. We've just wrapped and we are about to go have breakfast, right? I'm so hungry. Let's go. And it's freezing.
It's live and niggas won't take it. Hey, I'm having my way. Set out here having his way.
Okay, it is halfway through the day. Shoot's done. We had breakfast at lunchtime, but that's fine. Regular behavior. What else have we done? Visited a family friend. That wasn't even on the agenda, but you know.
Oh, I did some shopping.
Oh yeah, a little bit of shopping as well. Now we have like grocery shopping to do. Just groceries, regular stuff. Right before Ramadan, like we need to pick up a few items that we don't have in the house. Key items so we can feed ourselves throughout the month. Dates, fruits. Do we need fruits now? We need easy stuff that we can eat during sahur as well. Fruits and dates. Do we need anything else in the house?
I was gonna say snacks, but we don't really need snacks during.
We already bought snacks the last time we did grocery shopping. I don't. Did we finish them?
Pastry.
We need to buy pastries and what type of like samosas and stuff. Yeah, we do need to get that. Chili sauce. We've got condiments.
Tofu.
Yeah, tofu. We'll also get some for ourselves because it's actually nice.
Sorry.
No, Mom makes it and it's good.
Does she?
Yeah, she's made it a few times before and it was really good. Okay, that's pretty much it, I think. What else? That takes us to March. So March was a very, very difficult one for me. I had already started feeling a lot of pressure in February just because, as I mentioned, it was just becoming increasingly more difficult for me to juggle academia and also manage like the flood of jobs that I had. For some reason at the start of the year, I was just super busy to the point where the Instagram page where we normally post content regularly, I was not posting anything. Like I'd go like 5-6 weeks in a row without posting, not because I don't want to, but simply because I couldn't find the time to juggle rendering services, which are very, very time consuming and involve a lot of traveling. But I just, as I mentioned, couldn't find the time to create the content, which again, anyone who makes content on a regular basis will tell you is also a very, very time consuming task. So I currently have a team of like 2.53, which is very tiny. So I currently have a team of 2.5 or 3, which is very tiny. But I focus 100% of my time and energy on rendering the services. I have one particular person who helps me in coming up with ideas for creating content and publishing content on the Instagram page. And then I have a third person who pretty much now is in charge of the YouTube and the TikTok side of things. Even though I have people in charge of those things, as you know, if you are in charge of anything or if something has your name on it, or if it's your brand, it's your company, it's your business, you have to be there 100% of the time and you almost have to be there every step of the way. Like despite how incredibly, talented and skilled and well-versed the person is at doing their job, there are just certain things that have to be done under your own creative control or under your own creative supervision. So I think that is what hindered me a lot of the times. In March, I think at some point in time in March, I was so stressed out. Not so much stressed out, but I was under so much pressure because even when I love my business and I'm executing my services, I'm always in the back of my mind thinking, oh, I have so many academic responsibilities I absolutely have to get done. I can't let an entire month go past without executing or achieving anything academically. And I think the pressure had gotten to me so much, I had considered putting my business on the back burner a little bit. And I had considered like pausing it just to tidy up what I was doing on the academic end of things between March and the end of the year, and then I would pick back up. But it's so difficult, I think, when you've had a little bit of momentum to like slow all of that down and to pause it. I think it would kill what I'm doing, but it's just incredibly difficult to manage your time doing two things that need 100% of your time, 100% of your attention and dedication. I have always really believed that it's impossible to do two great things at once. I've always been the type of person that believes you're much better off focusing all of your time and attention on executing one thing really, really well and then turning around and doing something else completely different or whatever else it is that you want to do. So it's so funny that I find myself in the position where I'm having to split my time, my effort, my energy, my creative abilities, everything you can think of. It definitely is not easy, but you know, somehow you get it done. And some months your business suffers, some months your academic work suffers, unfortunately. But that is pretty much like what I signed up for, deciding to take two things on, like two mammoth things on at once. So as I mentioned, March was really difficult. I think a lot of it was for like me realizing that I was at that point in time the bottleneck to my business. It's difficult when you have something that you really, really desperately want to see grow, but you also don't have the time, the ability, like the commitment levels to nurture it to that point. And I also at that point in time, and still at this point in time, don't have the ability to expand my team and bring in someone who can like take over the responsibilities that I have. It's just tough because ultimately, if you're not able to do the job, you just have to make sure that you have the best people in place. But in order for you to have the best people to put in place, I think you need to have like a lot of money to throw around to make that happen. And that's not where I'm at the moment. And I'm hoping it's somewhere that I can get to, but like realistically speaking, the money that's in my business bank account, like I'd be better off like continuing at the pace that I am until I'm done with my academic responsibilities, and then I have the ability to like really, you know, like hit the gas and, you know, see how much I can grow the business, the brand, the company, everything. But at the moment, you know, I'm doing what I can with what I have. Let's just put it that way. And I think one of the things that made me realize that is just that I had set all of these targets based on like previous year's performance, which of course, like you're constantly reviewing your targets every quarter to just make sure, you know, you're on track. And I was just like not really way off my target, but I just wasn't where I thought I would be or where I had projected to be. And that was stressing me out a little bit. And I was like, wait, is it me? Like, am I a terrible leader? Like, what is going on? And I was working so much between January and March. I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm working almost double the amount of jobs I was working last year, like this time last year, but I'm not even close to reaching the targets that I had set for the year. So I think I just needed to be a little bit more patient with myself, which eventually coming into April onwards, I was like, all right, do you know what? Fresh new slate. Like now I have the ability to like really turn things around. I don't have to over worry. I also, because like my business is not my sole, like, what will I say? My sole source of income. I was like, I actually don't have to pressure myself to perform as well financially as I've been putting pressure on myself to. I can actually afford to, literally and metaphorically, I can afford to just like take a step back, not even take a step back, but I can afford to just breathe a little and give everything time to settle or grow or myself to possibly meet the targets the next quarter. So I think that's what it is. A lot of it is just pressure that you put on yourself more than anything else.
Yeah.
Brings us to pretty much the end of Q1. Overall, I'd say like the first quarter has been very, very interesting. A lot of rewarding moments and opportunities and jobs, and equally like a lot of I don't want to call them disappointments, but a lot of lessons, let's say. Yeah, lessons. I think because there were a couple of goals that I had set for myself that I wanted to meet, like the website's landing page, financial projection, what else was it? Custom packaging and the media campaign that I wasn't able to, which would like lead to the launch of the new service. Yeah, I'm just reviewing everything. To be fair, on the other end of the spectrum, I think I managed to get an incredible amount of work done within the first 4 months, which I have to say I'm like super proud of myself for. And as I said, I think I was just excited to see how what the next quarter would look like for me and for my business. This is like the first, I think, year that I felt like a proper, like an official business, just because now I'm like, oh, I have books, I have numbers. I mean, I always did these things in like an informal, casual way, but now I'm like, God, I have to publish these reports at the end of the year. I have taxes to pay, possibly. What is going on? So yeah, it's been different. I felt very serious, like, oh, now I have like a real business, like a real brand, a real company that I'm running. And it's been exciting to do that and to be able to somewhat juggle academia, which I have to admit is really suffering. And the academic end of things. With this YouTube, is not about academia. If it was, then we'd delve into it, but it's not. But yeah, I have to admit it's been tough to juggle both, and it's almost impossible. I really would not advise anyone. But as I said, a lot of rewarding moments. I'm excited to continue doing everything, and I can't wait to recap again at the end of the next quarter. I really wish I could put in my numbers in the video, but I don't know if that is too much information or if we're that close yet. Maybe eventually, one day in the future. I think it'd be interesting to see how the brand and the business grows and like the numbers I'm able to do each quarter, and to compare that to like what I'd be able to achieve in like 5 years time, 10 years time. Inshallah, we'll see. Maybe in the future when we become a lot closer and we build like a little community. So, okay, I'm going to I'll try to set goals for the next quarter publicly here with you guys. I've made a little note here, okay? So I've put down here that one of my goals for the next quarter is to be able to get my team to work like better or like more in sync. And I think because I'm the driving force behind that, what I need to do is just like, I don't know, something. I need to go and brainstorm what I have to do to make that happen. But yeah, I think one of my aims for the next quarter to become a better business and brand, I have to get my team working more effectively. I need to figure out a way to do that. And what else? I think for myself personally, it would be to put like less pressure on myself regarding goals and targets. And one thing I've noticed is that even with like money in my business bank account or whatever, I'll hit the target and I'll hit the goals, and then I'll have to do something with the money anyway for the business, and it's like, oh, all right, right back down. That it didn't even matter. I might as well not have made the money. I might as well, okay, I can't say that. I did need the money to pay for whatever I paid for, but I'm just saying, like, focus less on that, because as we all know, it comes and it goes, and you end up having like a million responsibilities and things you need to do with your money anyway. So it's not like you could literally directly take it out of your business bank account or put it in your pocket. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of content, I guess. So yes, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to updating you in real time in the future, not recaps after the months have passed, in real time. I look forward to updating you, and I look forward to us chitting and chatting and possibly talking about numbers. Thank you. Bye.